Let's see if I can. We are live. Okay, let's give it a couple of moments for people to join. Hello, everybody. Hello, whoever is joining or whoever is watching the recording. We are the Smile English team. We are back at it.
It's been forever.
It's been a minute.
But we are all busy. We're always having clients. Leti had probably 100 border collie clients in the last year or so.
Lots
So
of border collies.
Leti's now specialized in border collies. So nice to be here again and to do this little live. I see somebody is joining, so hello. We decided to we will not do just this live, but we will be coming back regularly. But we decided to take one of the most heated topics to start with, which is vet visits. So please let us know in the comments, first of all, where are you coming from, but also if vet visits are something that is on your mind, is something that you and your dog struggle with. And we will do our best to answer your questions at the end of the live. And we cannot wait to kind of see if we can help you with something. But we will start by telling about our own dogs. And so, none of our dogs come from easy backgrounds. All of them are coming from shelters and rescues and so on. So why we are not worried when we go to the vets with them. And we will tell you a couple of stories about our own dogs, how our vet visits happen nowadays, and share the key secret ingredient of why our dogs are like this, why we do not worry so much when we go to the vet. And what is the secret ingredient? Is it a lot of training? Is it some secret protocol? You will have to wait a little bit to discover. But hello, Marina. So please say hello in the comments. We are reading everything. Hello, Carol. So why don't we start? I will ask Leti first. Leti, tell us about the last vet visit that you've had with your dogs.
So I have 2 dogs now. I have Vesper, which is 8 years old, and she's an ex-hunting dog, very scared of people and the world in general. She's getting better, but she came to me very traumatized. And I have JJ, which is Jack Russell. He's about 2.5 years old, and he's very nervous. He came to me at 8 months old. So vet visits have been something that we've been working on, because when they arrived home, they weren't like my dogs before that were raised from puppies, and that I had a really a strong relationship with him, and still building my relationship with my dogs now. And what we did is Vesper doesn't like men. So I called the clinic, and I know that there is one lady vet that they know already and they're more comfortable with. So I asked for her. I also asked for a time of the day when there weren't going to be many dogs or many other clients. Or even people, like a more quiet time. So we went at 8 p.m., something like that, like the last appointment in the day. And I explained a little bit before up front to her, to the vet that was going to see us, that I was bringing them both, and what I was going to do, because I was bringing, I wanted to sit on the floor, and I wanted to lay the objects that she was going to use on the floor and do a treat search for them to do before we started any proceedings. And they've never seen anything like this before, so it was a bit of a shock for them. And even during the consult, she said to me, if any of the other vets see us do this, they're going to think I'm crazy. But it was okay. I think she also saw how the dogs were much more relaxed. She was able to do the vaccinations and explore them. And, she had the stethoscope on the floor before she used it on them. I mean, she was very good. She did everything that I asked her to do. So for me, this is important, that you find that vet that is going to help you with the things that you want to do, and then they are a bit understanding and open-minded, because I mean, this is maybe not the normal thing to do. So that was my last experience. It was good. It was a good experience.
Wow.
Maybe
You
it's
bring
not.
both dogs together in? You bring both of them together?
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
thought about it, and I thought it was going to be better for them as well.
So they can support each other.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so interesting.
yes.
And hello, Susanna. Hello, Karina. Nice to have you here. Hello, everybody who's joining right now. So we are just sharing our last vet visits, how they went, and then we will talk a bit more about why our dogs are so calm at the vets. And so I'll ask Ina now, how was your last vet visit?
It was a little like Leti's vet visit. This is Shar behind me. I adopted Shar when he was 4.5 years old. And before he lived with me, he probably never lived in a house, and he probably never went to the vet. So he used to live with a homeless person. So I expect that his first encounters with the vet or vet-like experiences were not that great, because that was probably around the time that his first carer unfortunately passed away, and then Shar was taken to the shelter. And usually in these circumstances, you can't do everything slowly and get the dog used to all of the new things that are going to happen, and it's a lot. Also, when Shar came to me, he would react very, very strongly to a number of things. He would bark and lunge at dogs, people, bikes, and you name it, 14 different things to be exact. So um, I have some things that I ask for. I used to ask for even more, and now luckily I don't have to anymore, because he has gotten used to some of the things that happen at the vet, and he is actually a great patient now. The things I usually ask for, I ask to go in the back door if possible, because some of the hallways are pretty narrow, and it's better if we don't encounter other dogs at all, or at least not in narrow spaces. He doesn't bark as much at other dogs anymore, but still those narrow spaces, and nervous dogs, because when they are at the vets, they are usually not feeling well, so they're also more stressed, and that's not a good time to meet face to face in narrow places. That's why we tend to go through the back door. We have a great vet that helps us make that happen. And also, if I can, I bring someone else along, another person, so that somebody waits with Shar outside, somewhere out of the way, and I go inside and wait for our turn, and I deal with the paperwork and all of those things, and then I bring Shar in when it's time for him to be examined. And that, I think, makes it much easier. So we avoid all of the stressful things that might happen before we even get to the examination. When we get into the room, I ask to let Shar go off leash in the room so he can sniff around, make the round, as Turadrugas would sometimes say. So explore the space a little bit, because that makes them feel safer. And sometimes we also do a treat search, just like Leti said. So I scatter some treats for Shar to find. It depends on what we're going in for. Sometimes they have to have an empty stomach, so maybe we don't do that. And he's by now so used to all of these things that he's quite relaxed at the vet's, and he will usually just lie down next to the vet's feet, not mine, the vet's, while we talk about what's going on and what we need and so on and so forth. And this time of talking is really good for the dogs. So as soon as they come into the room, it's better to leave them alone a little bit, so that they can kind of get their bearings before someone starts examining them, just to help them, kind of figure out what's going on. And then if possible, I ask that I handle my dog more than the vets do. They do those things that they have to do, for example, give an injection and so on. But I do the and I do as little of the holding in place as possible because he actually cooperates pretty well. And why he cooperates pretty well has to do with the secret ingredient that I hope we're going to get to talk about a little bit later. So right now, you wouldn't believe that this used to be a dog that barked at everything, and he absolutely went ballistic for the smallest thing. But now when he goes to the vet, he's a pro at it. And usually they can also, because of that, give him a good examination and really thoroughly check him out because he's relaxed enough for that to happen. Our last two examinations were pretty difficult because he's been having some issues with his movement, with walking. So we had to have an orthopedic examination and a neurological one. And if you've been to one of those, you know that the dog needs to be moved into uncomfortable positions. It can be painful. And usually they do it because the dog is already in pain. So that was difficult for him, but he handled it so well. And I asked for breaks when I saw that he needed a break, and the vets were really good about letting him take a break before they continued with the exam. And that made it much better for him. And I think also it made the examination itself more productive. They could find out more because he was not as tense, not physically also as clenched up as he would be if he were more nervous.
That's such a good point. I think it is a welfare concern when the dog is so afraid of the vets that it's so hard to examine them properly and so hard to diagnose them properly. And then, yeah, you end up actually with serious welfare issues. So it's not just about the kind of the experience itself, it's also about the health in general. So important to have. Yeah, so good to hear about your story with Sharina and to see this development that has happened. And yeah, so nice that now he's going into the senior age with ability to be properly checked and diagnosed. So nice.
Yeah. And also now we can go in the front door more often than not if it's not very crowded. We used to have this protocol of going in the back door for years, and it actually paid off. Now we can actually do some things differently than we did before.
And in both of your stories, we hear vets who can collaborate. And Dix, hello, Dix, you are watching from Greece. You're saying that's amazing when vets cooperate. In my experience, they are in a rush, and I think I'm overprotective. That's very common, and we are choosing our vets for like that can facilitate and can collaborate with us because it's so important for the whole experience. We are the ones who read our dogs the best, and we are the ones who understand them the best. And there is nothing wrong in asking to to accommodate some of our requests. And if they can do that, it can change the whole experience. Instead of them just restricting the dog and pushing the dog, it can change the diagnosis, right? So
also, I think that for us to gain that confidence to look for the right vet for our family, it takes time, and that's okay. Like I wasn't that assertive 3 or 4 years ago when I didn't know as much, and with time and seeing my dogs and understanding what their needs are, I've gained that confidence, and I know what I want for them and what I need to ask for. So just take your time to maybe not ask for everything in one go, but start asking for little things.
Yeah, recommendations really help. All my last veterinarians who have been amazing with my dog, I have found through recommendation, but definitely have been through a bunch of places where I was where my opinion was absolutely not regarded as important. So it does take time and effort. We hope you find your vet as well. And I can tell my little story of our last vet visit. It was actually last week. Me and Heidi, we went for annual vaccination, and I did something in advance because our previous experience wasn't very nice for Heidi. Actually, it was very negative. We went in and she had anal gland issues last year, and they were the veterinarian at the time insisted on expressing them, and of course expressing the anal glands is very unpleasant. And then Heidi didn't want to go in our normal vet clinic anymore. Like she really wanted, she came in and then she would immediately want to go. Like it was visible that she was very tense about that. So we already had quite a break from going there, and I thought it's a good opportunity for us to reintroduce this whole clinic and the situation there. And so I asked for a different veterinarian from the one who expressed the anal glands. There is there is nothing wrong with that veterinarian. It's just like to change, to change back to the. She already knew another vet who she really liked before, and every time she would go in, she would go into her room. And I thought, okay, she probably chooses that person. So I listened to Heidi and I asked specifically for that person who she liked. And then we did a small, I don't know how they are commonly called, but like a happy visit where we just came in. And Heidi really likes people, and I asked, there were a lot of people there, like all the nurses and the other vets, and I asked them, can you say hello to her? And she was so happy that they said hello to her, and we just sniffed around, and then she wanted to go. And I thought it was so good that she told me that now she wants to go, and I went with her, because being able to avoid unpleasant experience and having a choice of like this active choice of saying I want to go, then this makes the actual unpleasant experience feel much better for them. So I thought, oh, like it's so nice that she had an opportunity to say I want to leave, and I listened to her. And then we came in the couple of days later for actual vaccination. It was so much easier. Like she was in a good mood, she was happy to see the vet. What I did also to help her out is to bring my yoga mat with me. It is, I think, already kind of emotionally charged with positive context because I do yoga right here, and Heidi sleeps near me, and it's something that happens all the time. But also it really helps her to feel stable on her feet, not sleep around. And even if she just goes and puts one paw on this mat, or she sits on it, it helps her to feel so much more stable instead of being on the slippery floor. And of course our vet is just amazing. She did everything on her level. She let her sniff everything, she gave her breaks, she gave her tasty treats, and she like talked to her. So I feel very lucky to have a vet like this, and it was a very nice experience. So yeah, that's that's how it went. Tomorrow we go again because Heidi's teeth again need checking, but let's see. I hope we don't end up with an operation. But what do you think is this, like, Leti, I want to ask you first. So you mentioned that your dogs are not for a long time with you. You've had them not for a very long time, and they are both coming from difficult backgrounds. What it is you did, except for managing the actual situation? Did you prepare them in advance? Did you rehearse any of this? Did you do any training?
No, we didn't do any training, or we didn't do anything. But I had in my mind what they needed. And as I said before, with my previous dogs, my 3 other dogs were with me for like 10, 11 and 12 years. The relationship was there from the beginning. They were very young when they arrived, and they felt very safe with me. So this is what I'm building on, like in that wherever I go, they know that I'm with them and they are safe. So I think that's one key ingredient for me.
So
Yeah,
this
I agree.
relationship of trust.
Yeah.
I agree. I really, in everyday life, and this is not training, and this is not anything else. This is just how I want to live with my dogs and all my animals. Is I want them to know that I am safe, and they do. And the result is because my dog knows that I will not cause him harm, I will not scare him, I will not cause him pain, I will do my best to be safe for him. Then, when every once in a while something happens and I have to do something unpleasant, for example, I don't know, take out a tick or something like that, something a little bit painful, a little bit annoying, something that is actually impolite, dog to dog, in dog language, he will accept it much more easily because he knows that apparently this has to happen because she's doing it and she never does anything bad to me, you know? And especially Shar, my current dog, he does not always feel safe in the world. Hence all the barking that I mentioned before. But he does feel safe around me and he will let me do amazing things you wouldn't believe. I can, if I need to, and I really don't exploit this, take something out of his mouth. I almost never do that. And that's why he allows me to do it, because I do it once in a blue moon. And I would never take his things because I'm respectful towards my dog, right? So if I'm taking something out of his mouth, it must be a special situation. It must be dangerous, and he will let me do it, for example. And also, the way my dog takes pills is quite amazing because I will hand him a pill and he will eat it, even though sometimes
We are
it's
we are all in
disgusting.
awe of this.
Yeah, it's just that he just kind of figures out, okay, this needs to happen. I trust my person, so apparently I am eating this disgusting pill. And sometimes they are. Sometimes they even smell disgusting. And if I can smell it, you can imagine how bad it smells to the dog. But yeah, and I did not train this. I did not use treats. I did not use a clicker. I don't own a clicker at all. It's just something that comes from the relationship between my dog and myself. And I'm not saying that any dog will willingly take pills like mine does. I'm just saying that a lot can be achieved if we work on the relationship and if we make sure we are always safe for our dogs as much as we can be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that is going to work for me with Vesper, for example. I mean, JJ has another personality and he's much more willing to do stuff for me. But Vesper is very aloof, you know, and she doesn't want to do any training of any kind. She doesn't want to do anything. I mean, she just wants to live her life peacefully and restfully, and for everybody to leave her alone. So the only thing that I can do with her is build my relationship, and all those things that you mentioned. Like that she knows that I am a place of safety, and that I'm not gonna do anything to her. That is going to cause her any harm. And saying that, we've been avoiding vet visits because I want to make sure that when we go, she's okay. So we're doing the basic, vaccinations, and she has some teeth problem, and that we have to do. But I'm trying to avoid as much as possible going there and stressing her.
But this is quite a tricky thing because we know that dogs that have behavioral issues and that can be either fearful or react very strongly and so on are also usually dogs that have health issues. These two things really go hand in hand. Even studies have confirmed it. So I can imagine that many dog carers want to take their dog to the vet and it would be beneficial for the dog to go to the vet, but at the same time it's so difficult behaviorally to go to the vet, so it's a kind of a vicious circle that you have to break somehow.
Yeah, but then we can use medication, we can sedate them for the visits, and this is what some of the people I know did, and that has really worked out. Of course, it is another stress for the body. It is, if we can avoid big sedations, it's good. But if we have to, and we know that our dog will completely freak out, and I think it's more kind to them to just sedate them, to have them checked in that state, to not accumulate another negative experience, because it also breaks your trust because you are there holding them and they are feeling horrible, and like you have to hold them, and then there is I think it can be a break for the relationship.
It kind of depends on the degree, on the
Yeah.
specific situation. I agree that sometimes, yes, that's the way to go. And
Mhm.
sometimes happy visits are the way to go. And
Yeah.
sometimes avoiding the vets for a while or having really cool vets, my experience, you can have a really cool vet who's willing to examine the dog outside for a
Yeah.
very, there was this kind of small little thing that he just needed to check, and he was like, he doesn't have to come in here, I can go out there and just check him at the car.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Because it was really a tiny thing he just
Mhm.
needed to see.
Yes, that's so good if we can do something differently, or maybe have it at home so the dog doesn't have to stress about this going in the clinic, because of course it's already the context that's loaded, that brings very strong negative feelings for many dogs already. So yeah, and I thought I also wanted to ask you about this training part, because yeah, Leti, you say, okay, Vesper doesn't want to do any training. And I can imagine this, because for many dogs, when we start already some kind of procedures, they already tense up and go like, she wants something from me. And then like this just goes very wrong
she,
way.
she she knows even before I, if I try to get her to come with me to the car because we're going alone, she already knows this is something happening. If
Yes.
I so any kind of training that I would try to do with her, and I'm talking about training like maybe search for a toy in the garden,
Hmm.
that kind of thing to engage her a bit. And she's also a search dog, so I think that she would be probably quite good at it, but she's not interested.
Hmm.
So even thinking about doing training to go to the vets or anything like that is just no, it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
It's more a lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, it is. And I'm personally not against doing some kind of training. So, for
Yeah,
example, I have
me
had
neither.
teach Heidi to show her teeth, just so that they could be examined and showed, and so it's predictable, because it's something very intrusive when people look in your mouth. But she had so many teeth problems that, something we thought about. And yeah, maybe like practice holding her in a certain way by the harness when like people have to put the vaccine and the vets asked to, this is how you would hold her. So I think rehearsing some of the situations is good, but we feel that it's not the solution. Like, we cannot rehearse things to the degree that the dog is completely okay with it. And I feel why cooperative care might be very useful for some dogs and animals. But I think when we only focus on that, situation where the needle goes in the dog, we forget the whole other layers of the dog that we have in front of us. And that's a lot to do with the stress level. If their stress level is high, they will be more reactive to any manipulation that they're doing. They will be having worse relationship with us. They will just have less brain space to accept things and process stressors. So we are all about having the no stress lifestyle. And it's not just a period, it's not a training program that we do, but it's about everyday life with our dogs, and making sure their basic needs are met, and they have choice in their lives to feel that they have opportunity to choose how to deal with stressors. And then when really stressful situation comes, like a vet visit, and we have to ask them to do something, they're like, okay. They are not going to freak out, because they know how to deal with stressors. And that's about just everyday life. There is no I feel there is no really training you can do to completely avoid fear at the vets.
Life is not a training exercise. I think what Lyubov just said is actually a very good answer to Susanna's question, because Susanna is asking, how about for those that don't have access to an understanding vet? Uh, what you do with your dog in everyday life will probably outweigh that. And I think that's something, and it's a huge topic actually. What to do, what not to do, what kinds of routines, how much your dog needs to sleep, what kind of walks your dog needs. This is something that we love to talk about. Um, the food, dog friends, all of these things have an impact on how the dog feels, how the dog learns, and how the dog reacts to stressful situations. And that's also something that we all do. We all consult with dog carers about their dogs' everyday lives and how they can decrease stress, and also how to build strong relationships of trust with your dog. And sometimes people try to do things well and do their best, but sometimes they are missing some key information. So they might be overdoing something or doing something that will actually impact the dog's stress level negatively instead of positively. And that's why we're here. So if you are wondering about this, about generally helping your dog with behavior and how they feel, you can also contact us for a consultation. We also do online consultations if you're not anywhere near us, either in Estonia, in Spain, or in Slovenia. And you can find that on our website, smilenglish.com.
And because I know a little bit about Susanna's dog, I know that yeah, also there is some touch sensitivity, as I understood, going on, and there is like a vicious circle. It might be a vicious circle of the dog being in pain somewhere and not allowing to touch, and then it's hard to break the cycle. So I would look into I would probably look into medication for this kind of visits, or just a veterinarian or a physiotherapist also who can work with your dog without intrusive examinations. It's not easy when we have this like extreme touch sensitivity because of pain, but we have to take it seriously. It's not just because of it can be not just because of fear, I think.
Can
There's
I say
also
something about touch? Because Vesper
Yeah.
was like this when she arrived. You go first, and it doesn't matter.
I was just going to mention the case that we worked together, Leti, from 2 different countries. Also, a dog who was in pain and who wouldn't let himself be touched by strangers. And one of the things that helped, there were many things that had to be done and accomplished, but one of the things that helped was actually Leti helping the people, the carers, long distance to first understand that their dog was in pain, and then she helped them by teaching them some massage techniques that they could do, because they could touch the dog but other people could not. That was just part of the whole case, but I just wanted to mention that there are solutions for a lot of things. Go ahead, Leti, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say yes, because many times it's pain, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes there is a touch sensitivity that is not pain, and Vesper had this, and we had to work on touching her, like very slowly with a lot of care, using a special brush, not because it's a special, just because it was the one that was right for her, and slowly building her confidence about touch. So it kind of depends a lot of the background of the dog. It can be a touch problem without having to be pain also.
Yeah, definitely. And it can be emotional allodynia. It can be so many things, actually.
Exactly.
Moita is saying that she has a dog at home that turns into a crocodile at the vet. I happen to know Moita's dogs, and I'm wondering which one it is, but I think I know. Yes, we could go on forever, I think, but
somebody's
we
gonna
might
start taking their yoga mat to the vet.
Yeah. If you guys agree, maybe we answer one last question and
Where
then
are
we will
two?
wrap it up for
Where are
today.
two? We can answer. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, tell us.
One is from Susanna, was asking, do you think nervousness and emotions of the human can impact the dog? Yes. Short answer is of course.
I have a longer answer, and it's based on something the Tura Drugas taught us. Yes, but also you can actually do a lot to be aware of and control how you behave, because the dog is not actually reacting to how you feel. The dog is reacting to how you behave, to your body language, to the sound of your voice, to everything you do. So you can really help your dog by helping yourself stay calmer. And if you're not really calm, because hey, it's hard, fake it till you make it. It's going to help your dog if you just try to control your movements and your voice a little, and it's going to make it a little easier for your dog,
I have
in
to do
my
it all the
opinion.
time because one of my dogs died at the vets, and actually going there for me is extreme stressor. I get anxious just by like being close at the vets, but for Heidi, I make myself talk slowly. I sit down. I do not do all these things with my fingers, which I really want to do, but I just sit and I talk very calmly and very nice. And the last time, you could only tell that I'm so nervous because I forgot my PIN, and my like when I was paying at the vets already, and it was going to log, and the nurse knows me. She's like, Lyuba, take a break, just go for a walk, like just go. And I had Heidi already in the car, so I just went for a little bit and I breathed out. But you could not tell when I'm with my dog, and I think this really makes a difference, because if I let it, it's not going to go good with Heidi either. So and yeah, very good question also here from Avi. What is your experience with going to the vet with other favorite humans of the dog? I had positive experiences going with my partner and other friends, even with my toddler. That's nice. Yeah, it's very good. I one of the visits we had recently to go do X-rays, I brought a friend, Elena, with who we do Canuzzo, and it was very nice. I think for some dogs it can really helped me also to feel calmer.
Yeah, it's helpful in many ways, emotionally and also practically. It can be very helpful for some vet visits. For example, I had to take Shar to a different clinic than usually. So I asked someone that he knows very well to come with me and to assist, and it was easier. And I think that Shar also enjoyed the extra company.
Yeah.
That was a bit
I
my idea when I took both of them together as well, because I usually only take one, but this time we did like a family trip to the vet.
That's nice. I go with some of my clients to the vet because they are so, especially if the dog is super nervous. I go and I handle this difficult part for the clients, which is telling vets what to do and organizing the vets. And with one very difficult dog, we had to go, like, he just immediately bites into people very quickly, and so I did the hard thing of, telling all the vets to go behind something and, standing still and not coming towards him. And that took a big emotional load off the people, because it was already hard enough, to anticipate the dog. Because the last time they were at the vets, the dog bit the vet and they had to end the vet visit there. So, sometimes you need somebody who can manage this situation for you also socially. On this happy note, we are going to end our live. Thank you so much for being here and for asking
Yeah,
questions.
thank you.
We will be back soon with more cool topics, which are hot topics in the dog world and that many people struggle with. So keep an eye on our page. And if you need support that is more urgent with your dogs, do take a look at our website. We have consultations section where you can get our help. And we do consultation, not just behavioral wise, but also Leti helps you to look at the body of your dog and see, like, deal with the sensitivities, with touch sensitivities, with postural, muscular issues. So, yes, we are here to help in a holistic way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.